All right, everybody, welcome back to the Xavier Klein Coaching Series. We decided to switch some things up, no longer become an owner, but actually just be a coach. That way we can kind of have some videos and some clips related to how we're going to customize the book to approach certain game plans when we watch certain simulation games. So we're going to check that out today. We are taking over the Los Angeles Chargers. The Chargers are in a little bit of a bad situation. They've gone through quite a bit of turmoil. All their coaches are fired. No more Staley. The team is in a weird situation where their wide receivers, their top wide receivers like Keenan Allen and Mike Williams are busted up and they're hurt. They have some issues when it comes to defensive players as well. Joey Bosa has to stay healthy. He's been having some issues. Khalil Mack, he's already now on the latter end of his career. They don't have a CB2. Their safeties, when Derwin James is on the field, it's great, but outside of that, they have problems in that space. They don't know if they're going to re-sign Austin Eckler. That's another person that they have to take into account. So there's going to be some things here that we're going to be paying attention to, and hopefully work through that. Just as a reminder to this, what we decided to do is set up the settings here. We're going to be in all pro default settings, so nothing changing as far as the gameplay sliders are concerned. We will be using XP sliders from Mr. Hurricane, so check his video out in the description. I think these actually work out quite well. As far as the rest of the league is concerned, we made sure to set up anybody who was fired and moved on to make sure that there will be changes to the staff for those teams. Certain players have been cut to kind of see what would happen from a realism standpoint. I'm interested in seeing certain players move on and move forward. Certain players I've decided to give extensions on that I feel will help from a realism standpoint to ensure that we're not going to see certain players getting put on a different team. So like Baker Mayfield, I gave him an extension with the Buccaneers. Kirk Cousins, same thing. As you can see here, you got things going on like Ron Rivera has been fired from the Commanders. Vrabel's been fired. Looks like he's going to the Commanders. So Russell Wilson, I decided to create a cut there. So we're going to see a couple different players moving on, and hopefully we'll work through that in this free agency. Before we move forward, let's check out the roster here for the Los Angeles Chargers. Right now, you're only going to see who is active. So as you can see, the left side of the line is not bad. Right side needs some work, and they need a new center with Corey Linsley retiring due to some injuries that he's dealing with. The tight end group outside of Gerald Everett is Parham, but we have to work on deciding whether we're going to extend Everett or not. You have injury concerns with Keenan Allen. You have Joshua Palmer, who's a decent wide receiver. Quentin Johnston hasn't been the greatest. He's a top pick in the last year's draft, but has the least amount of yards in this current rookie class. So it's kind of crazy to see that. When you look at the defensive side, I think Tui's been really clean as they're a linebacker there, but the interior linebacker group, we have to figure out, are we going to bring back Eric Kendricks and Kenneth Murray, or are we going to rock with Deion Henley? Khalil Mack, too, there could be a decision to move him down and kind of have him play more of a defensive end role, because I think he could be pretty solid in that space. The scheme we're going to be running right now to kind of change things up is we're going to be using more of a zone run scheme. So we're going to switch this over to a West Coast zone run scheme. So we're going to see how that kind of looks from that standpoint. And we're going to be using the San Francisco 49ers playbook with the Houston Texans defensive playbook. So knowing that I'm the coach, I want to bring something a little more dynamic in this gameplay, and hopefully it'll work out for us. So now that we're in that space, knowing that we're starting at the wildcard playoff, we can start advancing to see what can occur. So in the current playoff scheme, you got a decent group of cats right now. You look at the schedule here, and the playoff schedule is showing you got the Bills and the Steelers, Cowboys and the Packers, followed by the Dolphins and the Chiefs, Rams and Lions, Browns and Texans, and the Buccaneers versus the Eagles. So as we fast forward here on this wild card round, let's kind of see what happens and who takes it on. So when we look at this bracket here, it looks like a couple teams have shocked a little bit. Some are pretty certain. The Bills beating the Steelers 27-17 was to be expected. But look at that game right there. Showdown in Arrowhead. The Dolphins get through and beat the Chiefs 28-27. You got the Texans beating the Browns 24-13. Over on the NFC side, the Packers upset the Cowboys 36-35. That's pretty awesome right there. Lions beat the Rams at home 17-6, and then the Buccaneers lose to the Eagles 27-21. After those drop-offs right here, I'm just checking to see who has been moved on, who has been released. It doesn't look like anything too crazy has happened here in the divisional round. It looks like the Eagles did snag up Tyler Boyd and released Julio Jones. Dolphins went ahead and snagged up Zach Ertz. It looks like the Packers are going to sign Russell Wilson. That is hilarious right there. We will now advance to the conference championship, and let's see who got it done. It looks like the Ravens, they had that bye and they still lose. They always have that issue getting past that first additional win, and they lose to the Dolphins 35-21. Bills beat the Texans, so the Cinderella story for the Texans is over. They beat the Texans 24-10. You got to upset Central here. Packers beat the Niners 38-21, and the Eagles keep their freaking Super Bowl hopes alive, beating the Lions 35-21. Now we head to the Super Bowl, and it looks like it's going to be a crazy one. Bills keep it going. They look strong throughout this playoffs. They beat the Dolphins 32-17, and the Eagles keep it rolling as they beat the Packers 28-21. Definitely looking forward to see who's going to win this. Will the Eagles get it done with Jason Kelce and Lane Johnson on the latter part of their career, or will it be Josh Allen finally getting a Super Bowl for those Buffalo Bills? As far as the Pro Bowl roster is concerned, you know, you got a couple different players here. It's to be expected. CJ Stroud making the Pro Bowl is pretty cool as a rookie, man. I kind of see that guy just really balling out. He's the only Ohio State quarterback where I cannot believe how great he has been. Nice to see Nico Collins and Puka Nacua on this list. I think Ferguson from the Cowboys is pretty clean too. So we're going to see who retires, maybe who gets let loose. But there's some really good Pro Bowl players here, and we'll see what happens on this one. We'll keep advancing it. Now that we are at the Super Bowl here, let's check out the yearly rewards. We got Dak Prescott being named as the MVP over Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson. Coach of the Year is Dan Campbell. I could see that happening. D'Amico Ryans, honestly, too. That could be a very good one for them. When you look at the AFC side, our side, Tyreek Hill wins Offensive Player of the Year, with Defensive Player of the Year being TJ Watt over Khalil Mack. CJ Stroud, Offensive Rookie of the Year. You got Will Anderson, Defensive Rookie of the Year, so both the Texans take that in there. Lamar Jackson, Best QB. Best running back is going to be Raheem Mostert. Tyreek Hill, Best Wide Receiver. O-line is Laramie Tunsil. Max Crosby at Best D-line. Linebackers TJ Watt. DBs Geno Stone. Okay. And Best Kicker is Kyron Fairbairn. So, pretty good group there. You look at the NFC side, CeeDee Lamb, McCaffrey, Amon-Ra St. Brown. That's actually kind of neat right there. Danielle Hunter, Deron Bland, with the amount of interceptions, it makes sense there. That's a really good competition. Offensive Rookie of the Year, no surprise, Puka Nacua, Jordan Anderson, Laporta on that list. Tyreek Stevenson for the defensive side, along with Byron Young and Brian Branch. I think Byron Young should have taken that. Dak Prescott at Best QB. Best RB is McCaffrey. CeeDee Lamb, Best Wide Receiver. O-line, Zach Martin. Micah Parsons, D-line. Linebacker, Danielle Hunter. DB, Deron Bland. Brandon Aubrey, a very consistent kicker for the Cowboys. So not a bad move for them. definitely looking forward to seeing who is going to take this on. So we're heading to the off season. Who wins it? The Buffalo Bills. Do they win their first Super Bowl? Or do the Philadelphia Eagles get it done here? Wondering what will happen. And it looks like the Bills win their first Super Bowl. This is actually my pick for the Super Bowl. It will be the Buffalo Bills as the winner. I actually have the Bills, I believe, going against the Lions. So it was like I was hoping for like a really cool situation where we're not only going to have a new Super Bowl contender out there, but we're also going to have a chance to see two franchises, one of them actually getting it done. Jordan Poyer being the Super Bowl MVP. Kind of a cool situation there. Nice to see Josh Allen and the Bills getting their win. That actually leads now to the retirements, and you got a lot going on. Kareem Jackson, Case Keenum, Jerry Hughes, and John Weeks from the Texans. You got Harrison Smith calling it a career for the Vikings. Jason Peters, Jimmy Graham retires once again. Van Rotten has called it a career here. You got Matthew Slater saying he's done. You got Teddy Bridgewater calling it a career. He's actually going to be coaching in high school, so we made sure to adjust that. Dwayne Brown, left tackle for the Jets, is retired. Mason Crosby, Justin Pugh, Tyrod Taylor, Graham Gano. Trent Williams for the Niners retiring is huge. Calais Campbell, and check this out, Jason Kelce calls it a career in this simulation along with Brandon Graham. Two big captains and leaders for this Philadelphia Eagles team are no longer there, so we'll see what they decide to do for the rest of their series here. Raheem Mostert says he's done. That's kind of an interesting one there. Matt Prater's done. Taylor Lewan finally calls it over. Suffold says he's done. Flacco says, hey, it was a run, but I am done. That's actually a pretty neat one right there. So, interesting retired class, but Kelce deserves it, man. I think he's starting to feel the toll, and it kind of makes sense for him to kind of move on, and hopefully they'll kind of work through that one. As far as staff moves are concerned, you got a couple people getting fired all across the league, and we're actually gonna see what happens here. You know, who's gonna take over. Staley looks like he is coaching the Raiders now. Pete Carroll, he was fired, so I'm interested to seeing who is going to get hired. Rivera, he's trying to find a new place. Pete Carroll, definitely interested in seeing what happens there. Looks like he's going to the Titans, so it's going to be a pretty cool situation here in this series. I'm hoping our guys step up, but here's what I'd like to do. One of the things is, knowing that we're in a 4-3 set, I would like to move Khalil Mack down to an end. And the reason why is I feel like he plays more like that. I'd also like to move Joey Bosa down to the opposite side, as I feel it just makes sense to have these two guys just go hunt. I don't think it makes sense for them to be playing linebacker in a 4-3 set. I think it gives them a chance to progress in a way that fits with what we're going to need in this upcoming season. I want Joey Bosa and Khalil Mack to really get it going. That also means, though, that our linebacking group is definitely going to be dwindled down, but we're going to have to figure out how to make it work. I think Thule plays pretty well there. You got Christian Covington and Ogbonio on the interior. So we are really rough on the defensive line. There's a lot of work needed for the Chargers. So I'm hoping we can kind of step up here. So let's go ahead and advance it now to the re-sign period and see what can go on. So with the upcoming free agency, we want to check out what are the mock drafts doing. And it's looking like the Bears are saying, you know what? We could trade back, but there's just no reason to. Oh, wow, this is a very, very weird. How are the Cardinals number 2? They should be number 4. Oh, something happened here. Really strange. J.C. Latham? Wow. Interesting class here. They got us going Talise Fuaga. Oh, you got Caleb Williams for the Cards. The Cards not number 2. Wondering if the draft order got messed up, because we're number 5. Cardinals shouldn't be number 2. The Cardinals should be number 4. Commanders should be number 2. So something looks like it got messed up here in this setup. Interesting. But the Cardinals going for Caleb would be wild, knowing you got Kyler Murray. So in this series here, they may decide to just turn it up and say, let's go for it. Wow, that would really shake things up. Cooper DeJean to the Jaguars would be kind of neat. Malik Neighbors falling all the way down to 22 would be a shocker. Rome Odunze to the Dolphins would kind of make sense. Brian Thomas Jr. to the Eagles, kind of interesting there. And then free safety. Bills don't really need to do anything too crazy on the Bills side, but on the wide receiver side, but definitely interesting on what we're seeing right there. As far as the transactions are concerned, I want to see who got re-signed. It looks like the Raiders tagged him. It looks like the Panthers tagged Brian Burns. Josh Jacobs got tagged by the Raiders. Josh Allen got tagged. It looks like McKinney gets tagged. You got Swift getting tagged. DJ Reader getting tagged. They accepted the 5th-year option for Gregory Rousseau. Gabe Davis gets the bag. 3-year, $42.3 million, and then they restructure Diggs' contract to make sure they can sign him. Looks like that Allen also restructured, so Gabe is going to stay with the Bills. They're going to try to repeat it. Interesting there, 5th-year option for the Broncos there for Surtain makes sense. Evans gets the bag with the Buccaneers along with Antoine Winfield, Devin White. They pick up a 5th-year option, it looks like, for Tryon Shoyinka. Levante David, so the Buccaneers looking like they're reloading here. T. Higgins gets the bag, 3 for 41. Mecole Hardman, Mike Donna, Willie Gay, Chris Jones all stay with the Chiefs. Micah Parsons gets his 5th-year option. Looks like Pollard got a 3-year, $28 million deal. Gilmore staying with the Cowboys. Biadiz staying with the Cowboys. Phillips gets his 5th year. Some really good ones here. Good decisions. Look at Tyreek restructuring his contract along with Xavier and Howard to try to help their teammates out. Chase Young staying with the Niners there. I think that's a good move. Warner restructuring. Debo restructuring to make sure they keep their dogs. Saquon Barkley takes a 3-year, $35.4 million contract to stay with the Giants. I like that move. Ashawn Robinson staying with the Giants is a good move. Etienne getting a 5th-year option. Ridley getting a 3-year, $39 million is pretty good there. Vera Tucker. There's some really good moves here for for some of these teams, man. They're making some good decisions. I like to see some of these players staying together, so it's going to be kind of neat. I'm wondering what we could do, though, with the Cardinals and the I don't know if there's a way we can make that trade. That's kind of crazy that the draft order got messed up, though. Not sure how that could happen, but maybe it's just the games recognizing the same record or something. I don't know. Really strange, but no, it is what it is there. Looks like we are heading to negotiations. We got 27 players to look at with only $20 million in cap, right? So you got to think about this. Slater, do we accept this option here, his 5th-year option? And I think we do. I don't think we have a choice there, but I think once we do that, I don't know how much money we're going to have. You got Austin Eckler, who doesn't want to play for us. Kenneth Murray doesn't. Everett doesn't. Gilman. There is a lot of players. Guyton kind of wants to play for us. You got Jalen Hawkins, AJ Finley, Tanner Muse, Easton Stick. I could say this right now wholeheartedly that none of these guys really mean much to me. Cameron Dicker is interesting, but when I look at his accuracy here, it's actually 86. Oh, he's actually a pretty accurate kicker. So if we decide to sign anybody, it's probably going to be Cameron Dicker. That's the only guy that kind of makes sense. A 2-year deal seems fair. I'm hoping he accepts it. That's going to be about $3.2 million. And it looks like he is staying. So we get Cameron Dicker. We have $16 million in cap space. Now, do I want to keep Austin Eckler? As much as I'd love to, I think he should probably find a new home in a different spot that maybe he kind of just shocks the world and does work. So interested in seeing what happens there, and we wish those guys the best. So in stage 1, it looks like we have an opportunity here to check out a couple players. Definitely interested in seeing who's going to take who, man. It's going to be strange. Caleb Williams, Drake May, Marvin Harrison. Got Jaden Daniels there. I don't think we're not going to be looking at a QB. I'm looking at a wide receiver. I think Malik Neighbors, if he falls to 5, there is nothing wrong with going after him. But I wouldn't be upset with taking probably the best tight end prospect out there. I think the O-line we can improve by getting a center in this year's draft, Cedric Von Prawn being the guy in question. So I'm going to be interested in seeing what we do in the draft in that episode. So we'll have a separate episode just for that. I just want to work on the free agency market here for these Chargers. So let's see who's out there, who's ready to roll, and kind of get it going. As far as the quarterbacks are concerned, we're going to see Russell Wilson out there. He's looking to be signed by somebody. Uncle Rico, Gardner Minshew, Sam Darnold. He's looking like he's trying to find a new home. Jameis Winston, Joshua Dobbs, Jacoby Brissett, Marcus Mariota. As far as halfbacks are concerned, you got Derrick Henry, King Henry out there looking for a new home. Austin Eckler. Now, this is the crazy part, right? He didn't want to extend us, but he wants to play for us now. Really strange with what I'm seeing right there. We got to go back and look at our roster, though, before we finish these free agents, because I'm wondering what does this team look like? We got 45 players on the roster now. How does this look for us? How will we kind of work through this, right? So, you got Keenan Allen, Quentin Johnston, Joshua Palmer, Mike Williams. Those are the 4 wide receivers on this team. With Keenan Allen there, if we decide to cut this man, what would this look like, right? It would free up $23 million and incur a penalty of 11.6. As much as I would love to trade Keenan Allen, I don't think it's fair for Keenan Allen to be traded like that. I think he should go out and find his own place, and this will free up some space for us, and I think that's what we're going to do. I wish you the best of luck, Keenan Allen, but it is time for him to find a new chapter in a different place. So frees up a little bit more room. We're going to get a chance to kind of see how we're going to revamp this wide receiver group now. As far as the running backs, it's pretty much Isaiah Spiller and then no one else. So we're going to have to figure out how to retool that. Tight end group looks kind of rough. We need a new center for sure in this space here. On the defensive side, my goodness. Let's see. Why did this happen? He's supposed to be playing. That's funny. So you got Joey Bosa here. And we're going to have Khalil Mack down low. Definitely interested in seeing how we're going to grow this. Eric Kendricks is still here, so that gives me some freedom in that space. The free safety group is led by JT Woods. We're going to have to figure out how to work through that one. We're in trouble in a lot of areas with $16 million, man. I just don't know. I'm wondering, though, knowing we got Joey Bosa, if we were to restructure the contract, what would that give us? It would free up another $6 million, which honestly isn't a bad move for us, knowing that we do have Keenan Allen no longer on the team. That gave us a little bit more room. So we should have about $40 million, now maybe closer to $50 million in cap space after that decision right there. But now let's get back to the free agents and kind of see where we're going to go. So when you look at the wide receiver group now, Keenan Allen is out there. He's looking for looks like Michael Pittman Jr. has decided to test the free market and the free agency market, and he's going to look for a new home, leaving the Cardinals, the Colts. Hollywood Brown is leaving the Arizona Cardinals. That wouldn't be a bad move for us. Michael Thomas is available. Marquez Valdez-Scantling, Jamal Agnew. So there's some interesting players here in the wide receiver group. Now we can only choose one person per evaluation, so we have to take that into account. Hunter Henry looking for a new home. Gerald Everett, Gesicki. So the Patriots are trying to get loose here. We'll see what happens there. You got Jonah Williams looking for a new spot, which to me, left tackle, having depth there wouldn't be a bad idea. I just don't see myself doing that now. Laken Tomlinson leads the Jets. That's going to be an interesting move for them. The center, it looks like Connor Williams could be the main cat for us. I mainly focus on players that are in green for the first couple stages because they want to play for us and we might be able to get a decent value for them. But Connor Williams looks to be the player that we could snag up here. You got Robert Hunt leaving the Dolphins, Kevin Zeitler leaving the Ravens. Those are two players I'd be interested in bringing in as well. Jamar Sawyer isn't a bad player, but it's all about making sure that Herbert has the protection he needs. And if we decide to do it on this end and snag up these guys, I wouldn't be upset about it. I'd say you snag up the two best prospects there in Connor Williams and Robert Hunt, and you move on. We leverage our cap specifically for those guys, and then we leave the free agency up to anything else. When I look at the defensive tackle range, you got Grover Stewart and Michael Pierce as the top prospects. But for us, the person that wants to play for us is Tyler Tart. I think for us, it's probably best to look for a defensive tackle in the draft. Maybe we can snag somebody in the later free agency stages, but I'm not about to do anything crazy. Jadeveon Clowney leaves the Ravens. He's a guy that could really work out. Leonard Floyd. So getting some more veterans on this team, I wouldn't be upset about. It's just how much money do we have to spend to bring them on? Sion Taki from the Browns could be a nice move right there. If you have Sion, you're talking about having him and Tui on the outside, letting Bosa and Mack kind of get together. So that could be a nice move for us in that space. Middle linebacker is needed. Patrick Queen has left the Ravens, so I'm wondering where he decides to go. The main prospect for us would be Landon Collins, Shaquille Leonard. Having a veteran like him, I wouldn't be upset about. I think he could be a really nice player for us. But we got to think about our picks here. Van Ginkel leaving the Dolphins, Cashman leaving the Texans. You got Shaq Barrett out there. There's some pretty good players. Corner, this is a spot that I'm hoping we go for, right? You got L'Jarius Sneed, the top prospect here. I don't think we're going to be able to get him. When I look at some of the guys that are out there, though, I just have to be patient with the corner prospects. I wouldn't be upset with bringing in some guys like Emmanuel Mosley, though, from the former Niners, and CJ Henderson, a former Panther. Those are guys that we might be able to leverage there. Maybe draft a corner in this year's upcoming draft and snag up a guy there in that space. I am interested in looking at some potential safeties, Darnell Savage being one of them. I think he could be a really, really interesting player because he's got some great experience back there. He's going to be asking for not a whole lot of money too, so I think that's not a bad move for us. Him paired up with Derwin Williams could be really clean. Now Kyle Duggar and Marcus May look to be out there too. Looks like the Patriots are just they're just revamping everything. So when I look at something like that, I would, as far as the free agents are concerned, I think it's appropriate for us to probably start looking at players that want to play for us and really be revamping it. If I'm going to do anything, though, the first player that I want to look at right now is probably battling for Robert Hunt. He's 28 years old. It's $11.2 million. No one's going after Connor Williams right now. So because of that, I think it's best that we snag up a guy that we could fight for. We retool this O-line. Pipkins is staying on the right tackle side. We'll probably look to draft one, but I don't see myself trying to go too crazy because he got an extension. So we're just going to have to roll with what we got there, play with the contracts we have. Now, Robert Hunt is 28 years old. He has a lot of interest. California, big market. He's not close to home. Robert Hunt is the kind of player that probably deserves closer to about 13 mil a year, and I think that's a fair deal, or 14 mil a year, excuse me. And I think that should give us the best opportunity to sign him. After this potential signing, we'll have about 32.6 million, but I think that's the right move for us. So Robert Hunt, looks like the Lions are trying to fight for him. I think for us, Salyer is not a bad player. Maybe we can move Salyer to center. I think he's played center at sometimes, but I would probably let Salyer be more of a backup, let him develop, and when he's ready to roll, he's ready to roll. But I'm not going to risk our franchise quarterback in waiting for him to develop. We need to make sure we launch him now. So we're going to go ahead and snag this guy, see if it works out. He is a 5-bar on us, so we'll see if it works out. And it looks like we did get the signing. Robert Hunt is now a Los Angeles Charger. Next up here, we're going to go ahead and snag up Connor Williams. He's looking at a 2-year deal here. I think for somebody like Connor, he's a very strong center. I think 11.5 million is more than fair for someone like him, and I'm hoping we get that done on this series here. So we're looking at that signing, that target there. Let's see if we can get it done. And it looks like we got him. So we got 2 big moves right there. We're able to upgrade the O-line after the cut of Keenan Allen. So now our O-line looks ridiculous. I think I'm way more confident with this O-line now for Mr. Justin Herbert. You're talking about Robert Hunt, and it looks like, I guess, Connor is hurt. He's going to be coming back later in the year, so hopefully he'll be back at the start of the season. But now we got a center, a good veteran center, good veteran line, right? Slater and Johnson are younger, so now they're going to be learning from some good vets here. And Pipkins plays pretty decent at right tackle. So we got the front taken care of here, which is what you always have to make sure you take care of the trenches, man. That is 100% important there for a nice team. I always think about the trenches, defensive line, offensive line. That's just how I feel like it. If you could do that with a decent quarterback, you could succeed. You do that with a franchise quarterback, things are going to get real crazy. So now that we've gotten those in order, the next thing I want to look at is the defensive side. And the player that I'm looking at is Sione Takitaki. He wants to play for us. We have a franchise quarterback, which he's excited about. He fits our scheme. It's a base 4-3, and he likes a warmer state. He is 100% interested in us. So how much are we willing to pay him? In my opinion here, I think with Sione Takitaki, about a $9 million deal is more than fair for 3 years. I'd be pretty cool with that. I think him alongside with Tui is going to be a very good move for us. So I'm hoping that gets us to the right spot, and it looks like we are the 5-bar, so they are definitely interested. You got the Jets wanting them along with the Bengals, so the AFC trying to keep them, but the NFC is also in the competition there with Carolina Panthers. So this will be our last draft pick, our free agency pick here for this first stage, and it looks like we got them. So I am pumped now. The offensive line looks really clean. The defensive line now is going to get reset due to Sione Takitaki being on the team. So that's going to be clean right there. And this is going to be fun. So we got Kendricks here, Deion Henley. We're going to see him kind of get an opportunity to ball out. But knowing that where we're at, we got to figure out how to get some depth on this piece. His corner is important on the next stage. And maybe some thoughts on the D-line, defensive tackle line. But you know, I think with where we stand right now, we've made big decisions here for this team in a way that should allow us to succeed. As far as the combine is concerned, it looks like the results are in, and I'm kind of interested in seeing what these players are going to do, right? Like Caleb Williams he did not participate in the freaking combine, but he probably didn't need to, you know. He's probably like, yeah, it is what it is. Drake may get involved. Looks like he had a decent combine there. I'm going to check out the storylines and see if there was anything in that space that gives us some heads up here. The news, so what do we got here? Looks like Trent Brown goes to the Rams, Tyron Smith going to the Lions. You got Keenan Allen getting that big deal. He's going to Arizona. Man, this is going to be interesting. Looks like Nate Wiggins is one of the top CBs in this class. That might be something to look at there. That might be something to look at right there. So before we advance, let's check out to see who was signed across the market here. Looks like Tyron Smith to the Lions, like I just said. Keenan Allen, Trent Brown is going to the Rams. Derrick Henry is saying, I'm going to Carolina. He took a 2-year deal for about $20 million. Michael Pittman, he's going to create some more assault over there in Washington. You got McLaren, you got Curtis Samuel, you got Jahan Dodson, and now you got Michael Pittman Jr. L'Jarius Sneed heading to the desert. Awuzie going to Pittsburgh. Van Ginkel to the Vikings. Patrick Queen going to the Eagles. I think that's a great acquisition for him. They paid quite a bit for him, but I think that's not a bad move. It's a 5-year deal. They got that part locked in. Kyle Duggar to the Jets. Hunter Henry going back to the Patriots, so he actually got a really good deal. As far as QB is concerned, it looks like Russell Wilson is going to Las Vegas. He took a decent deal, about $23 million. He's looking to get crazy over there in Las Vegas. So we wish them the best of luck there. I don't think that's a bad move for him. He gets a chance to go against Sean Payton twice a year. Devin Singletary going to Minnesota. So Curtis Samuel, I was just talking about him. I guess he's no longer with the Commanders. He's going to the Bears. Gesicki was the other tight end from the Commanders. He's going to from the Patriots. He's going to the Commanders. So it was one or the other, and it looks like Hunter's going back to New England. Not a bad move there. Interesting moves from some of these teams. Ooh, I like that Huff move for the Texans. Huff is really good. Uchi to the Colts. Man, there's some move. John Murphy Bunting going to the... I think that's a great move for the Broncos there, man. They're going to solidify that DB group for sure. Geno Stone. Wow, he was the DB of the year for the AFC, and now he's going to the Chiefs. John Johnson leaving the Rams. He's heading to the Bills. Ooh, that's weird. Okay. Interested in seeing how that's going to work out. Let's advance to the next stage. And the next stage does require us to does give us the ability now 3 players per evaluation period. I don't think we're going to need all these periods, of course. I think our guys are honestly in a decent spot. And with those 3 key acquisitions, I don't think we're going to need to do much more. But let's check out the mock drafts here and see if anything has changed. And it looks like things have changed. So Marvin Harrison still top 1. But look at the Cardinals. They're saying we're going to snag up a very versatile defensive lineman. Knowing Marvin Harrison's gone, we got to go somewhere different. Dallas Turner is going to the Patriots in this mock, which is really strange because they need a freaking quarterback, or they're going to rock with Bailey Zappi. Olu Fashanu to the Commanders makes sense. They need O-line, so they're going to stick with Sam Howell. You got us going after Fuaga, which maybe we do. JC Latham could be a player we could go for, but I see myself going in a different direction. It's either going to be Malik Neighbors or Nate Wiggins, to be honest. But Brock Bowers is also in the running. I'd be pretty excited for that. Caleb falls all the way down, folks. Caleb Williams falls all the way down to the Raiders. So Las Vegas snags him up in this mock. This would be incredible. I would be shocked. I think Joe Alt to the Saints is a good move. Chop Robinson to the Bengals is a good move. Cooper DeJean going to the Rams. Whoo, man, that would be nasty. Tyler Guyton to the Steelers. Rome Odunze going to the Texans would be sick. Kool-Aid McKinstry going to the Cardinals. L'Jarius Sneed, Kool-Aid McKinstry. Ooh, that would be disgusting. Cameron Kitchens going to the Packers. Oh, yeah, Darnell Savage. Keon Coleman going to the Eagles, and then Chris Braswell, left outside linebacker, heading to the Bills in this mock. So pretty good one right there. So, okay. So the other player I was looking at, right, for the free agency market was free safety Darnell Savage. I don't know if he's available, but we're sure as hell going to check, and it looks like he is. So there's one additional offer right there. I think with Darnell Savage, he's 27 years old. I think what's fair here is probably closer to about $6 million a year. I think that's a good move for us. Looks like there's strong interest in that space. So it looks like we got all our guys. Tyler Tart, Darnell Savage, Taki. Now here's my thing, right? We got these cats. Is there somebody else that we really want? Let's double check one more thing here. Let's look at our salaries and see if there's any player we could potentially restructure, right? And it looks like I can restructure Derwin. That gives me $7.78 million. I think that could help us out there. I think Derwin's probably going to stay as Charger for a while, so that gives us some room there. We get a chance to restructure his. Eval's over, and it looks like we got Jonah and we got Irv. So 2 players that wanted to play for us are willing to play for us at a crazy discount, so I'm pretty hyped about that. We will go ahead and we got about $4 million in cap space. I think that's the right move for us. Let's go ahead and advance it. Let's see what stage 3 looks like here. So after everything is all said and done, we got $4.07 million left. Key players have been signed. Rico going to the Titans. So there's still some very good backup veterans at QB that can work out. That'll be kind of interesting there. Some wide receivers. Big ones. Tyler Boyd going to the Falcons is a good one. Odell to the Bears. Ooh, man. Darnell Mooney, Jefferson, and freaking Addison. Ooh, man. They are going to start cooking up there. That's a great move for them. Hunter Henry. Everett's going to the Panthers. Oh, where did Font go? I didn't even think about no Font. The Bengals. Ooh, man. There's going to be some moves going. Dalton Risner to the Cards. I totally forgot about Risner. Mitch Morse to the Bears. Zeitler is going to the Lions. Man, some of these guys. Ooh, I like this move for the Giants. I'm a Giants fan, so this is kind of good. John Runyon to the freaking Giant. Oh, man. That would be good. Oh, Eleanor. Titans. Okay. Really interesting plays here. Grover Stewart's a Patriot. Jadeveon Clowney is a Cardinal. Okay. Leonard Williams. That's a guy, man, we probably should have looked at there. I'd bring him in, move him to defensive tackle. That would have been a nice move, but he is looking for $21 million. Looks like 21, so about $10 million a year. We wouldn't have been able to afford that. Ooh, where did Wagner go? To the Raiders. Ooh, okay. Good moves there. So I don't see us making any other decisions at this time. I think we're in a very good spot. No reason to get crazy. I think it's appropriate for us to get to a good, comfortable position here. And this is where we will leave it. We'll talk about the free agency recap right now, talk about the players and that I signed and why I decided to sign them. But I think it does set us up for the draft. It narrows down our options with what we would like to do. And I'm definitely looking forward to seeing how we get that all done. This is the last mock, it appears to be, and the mock is showing the following. Nothing much is actually something Olu to the Patriots now. So the Patriots are not going QB. Whoa, Joe Alt to the freaking Titans. So I thought they would go something crazy. I thought maybe a wide receiver, maybe a QB. Nope, they got Will Levis. They're going to give this man some protection. Interesting move right there. They got Skoronski, who's probably playing guard. They need to get the tackles in order. So I thought the Jets would have done something here, but I guess not. So I thought the Jets would have went O-line, but I guess not. Maybe they retooled some things on the O-line. We'll see how that works out. Falcons going after a corner, I guess. Malik Neighbors to the Bears would be insane because now they got DJ Moore and Odell there. Having Malik would be kind of nuts. Brock Bowers. This is where I feel like we're going to alter this draft completely because I don't see myself going for Thalys Fuaga. Pipkins was extended, so there's no reason to do that. I think for us, it's better to snag up some more weapons for Herbert, and Brock Bowers or Malik Neighbors are going to be those players. Nate Wiggins can be pretty clean, but I just don't see myself doing. Marius Mims falling all the way to the freaking Bengals is a steal. A guard by the Bucks. I mean, I got Baker. We'll see what they could do there. Chop going to the Steelers would be a steal. Roma Dunze to the Texans. So little changes going on here in the later part of the draft. Kalen King to the Ravens. Okay. Keon Coleman going to the Dolphins now. And then Adonai Mitchell going to the Eagles. So, man, this is going to be a very, very interesting class. Caleb falling all the way down to the Raiders would be insane. I don't know how that could work out for them. I don't know if that would be the right move for them, but man, oh man. I want to see what happened, though, with... So let's look at the Raiders real quick. The Raiders decided to go... They got Russell Wilson there. Let's check out the free agency recap here. As far as our signings, here are the players we decided to sign. We went after Robert Hunt, as although we got Jamari Salyer at right guard, I think you need to upgrade this to ensure the safety of Justin Herbert. So we went after him. We also went after a new center, knowing that Corey Linsley is no longer in the game, and he is hurt. We're going to go ahead and he retired. Connor Williams is our new center. So we got two good veterans, both know what they're doing, signed up for some 2-year deals, paid some money for them, but I'm very proud that we got them because now I know that this O-line is pretty strong for Justin Herbert. We also went ahead and signed a left outside linebacker from the Browns, Sion Taki, who I think him with Tui is going to really pair up to be a nasty outside linebacker group. With no more Loie Gilman, we went ahead and brought in Darnell Savage from the Packers. I think he's a very good safety. He's young, he's hard-hitting, and we got him for a very good deal. We snagged up Tyler Tart, I think he played for the Titans. Very good player in the interior. I think he's still young, 27 years old, and he's going to work through it. And then we got some discounts, man. We signed up Jonah Williams for a freaking $5 million 2-year deal. $2.5 million is what we spent to get this guy in for 2 years. Easy play for us. Now we got a backup tackle that to me could really help us out if something were to happen to Slater or Pipkins. And then I wanted somebody there that could be pretty good from a tight end perspective, but not be too nuts from a cost perspective. We went ahead and signed Herb Smith for a 2.2 salary, but about $3 million guaranteed. Nothing too crazy there. $5.2 million, nothing at all for somebody like Herb Smith. And we got a tight end group that I think has some speed on them that can help out Herbert. Doesn't mean we won't draft a freaking tight end, but at least we got some pieces there that could really help us out. So to end this episode here, this is what our team is going to look like in the prior to the draft. We need a running back, so we're definitely going to be paying attention to the running back group in this upcoming draft. Connor Williams will be back in time for the beginning of the year, so I'm not worried about that. So we're going to see that working out there. The tight end group is going to be led by Darnell Parham, who I think is not bad considering the dude's freaking tall as hell. He's 6'8", so you got a big target for Herbert with this Niners playbook. I think it's going to work out well. Mike Williams should also be back to start the year as well. So he's going to lead this crew now, and hopefully him, Palmer, and Johnston, when we add another wide receiver in this upcoming draft, is going to be pretty good as well. On the defensive side, I think Tui and Taki on the outside linebackers clean with a good veteran, and Kendricks in the interior linebacker role. You got Bosa, Tyler Tart, Covington, and Mack on the D-line. We need to look at corners for sure in this upcoming draft. That's definitely something we'll pay attention to because Asante Samuel can't do it on his own. The safety group, though, did get upgraded, and I'm pretty proud of that with Darnell Savage paired up now with Derwin James. So this is going to be a very fun situation here. I'm looking forward to seeing how these guys kind of work together, how they develop together, and you know, I'm looking forward to this upcoming draft. So I really appreciate everyone that stopped by. If you like what you saw, please drop a like, leave a comment, and most importantly, subscribe to keep up with the series. This team is in a really good spot now. We got 51 players on the roster. Add the additional 7, that gets us to 60, 50, 58, 59, and then we will work, 58, and then we will look to add some more in the preseason. But I think this team's in a really good spot. You know, time will tell, but you know, we got to be smart with our upcoming draft, and I feel pretty proud and optimistic for what's to come. You know, we'll definitely talk through some of the recordings too, as far as how I set up this playbook and the potential plays, but we'll leverage the preseason on that one. So until next time, everybody, y'all have yourself a good one. Let's see what these bolts can do in this next one.